What's the very best way to capture your good ideas? Well, it's pocket notebooks. But what are we supposed to do if we don't have good ideas? How do we go about generating them? And what do we do with the good ideas that we stored in our pocket notebooks when our pocket notebooks are full? Hey, welcome to Park Notes. I'm Parker Settecase. I'm a philosopher and theologian, and this is a channel where I help you study and think more deeply. In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to capture your thoughts. That is, using a pocket notebook as a catch-all system and using another notebook as your good idea compendium. So make sure you watch the full video so you can become an expert on capturing your ideas and knowing where to store them when your pocket notebooks are full. This video is sponsored by Brilliant, but more on that later. Let's jump right in. Okay, so the best way to capture your thoughts is to use a pocket notebook, and specifically to use a pocket notebook as a catch-all. This is super easy to do. You just grab a notebook. For years and years, I've used these pocket Moleskine notebooks, but I'm also enjoying Field Notes memo books, and I'm really enjoying these Field Notes leather wallet holders. But for the past few years, I've been using a Leuchtturm 1917 A6 pocket notebook as my catch-all. So you grab a pocket notebook, you bring it with you everywhere you go. You write down your good ideas, your thoughts that you want to remember, tasks, to-do lists, good memories, any kind of list, names, quotes, ponderings, other people's good ideas, etc. Collect those all together in your pocket notebook catch-all, fill these things up, and then repeat. Yeah, it's really that simple. Pocket notebooks are amazing catch-alls if you want to capture your thoughts. But people often ask me, what do you do with your pocket notebooks once you're done with them? That is, once you've filled them up with your ideas. Now here I want to talk about the life cycle of information. I'm going to pull an entry from my Contemplatio, which is a pocket notebook that I use to stave off boredom. If you guys want to see a video on that, check this one up here. I collected this life cycle of information from Luciano Floridi's fantastic little book, Information, A Very Short Introduction. And here he gives 2 ways to look at the life cycle of information. This first way has 4 steps: occurrence, transmission, process and management, and usage. Here in occurrence, we have discovering, designing, and authoring information. In transmission, we have networking, distributing, and accessing information. In processing and management, we have collecting, validating, modifying, organizing, indexing, classifying, filtering, updating, sorting, and storing information. And lastly, in usage, we have monitoring, wow, that's hard to say, modeling, analyzing, planning, and leveraging information. The second little model may be more intuitive for us. We have creating or generating information, collecting information, recording/storing information, processing information, distributing and transmitting information, consuming and using information, recycling or erasing information, and back to creating and generating information. So what both these models of the life cycle of information have in common is that you have to generate information. Once it's generated, you have to collect and store that information, you have to process it, you have to distribute it or transmit it somewhere else. You have to use that information and you have to figure out what to do with it once you've used it. Do you erase it? Is it done? Or do you recycle it for a later time? When it comes to using a pocket notebook as a catch-all, a lot of people will ask me, how do you generate the ideas to put in your pocket notebook? Now, when it comes to time-sensitive, actionable events, those are pretty easy. That's just whatever life presents to you. I have to go get an oil change. I have a meeting. I have to remember this person's name. Those kind of detail-y things will come to you no problem. But what a lot of people wonder about is how to create or generate your own ideas, or how to find and collect interesting ideas from others. Now, I want to throw out just 2 recommendations for idea generation. One is my own podcast, Parker's Pensées Podcast. You can find a link to my YouTube channel up here. It's also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, all the big podcasts, you can find it there. Now, is this just a shameless promotion? Well, yeah, I guess kind of. But on my podcast, I discuss some of the most interesting ideas in the world with the world's leading thinkers, with philosophers and theologians from all over the world who are top in their field, and we discuss their cutting-edge ideas. If you want to generate your own ideas, have some input coming in. Listen to an intriguing podcast like the Parker's Pensées Podcast. Read an intriguing book, maybe with some controversial ideas, but have that input coming in so you can think about those ideas and chew on them and form your own beliefs about them. So first up, listen to my podcast, Parker's Pensées, or find another good podcast with interesting ideas. Secondly, I recommend you check out Brilliant. Brilliant is a free and easy way to generate new ideas. I really love the Brilliant classes that I've been taking. How so? Well, Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively. Brilliant is fun, with thousands of lessons from basics to advanced topics, and new lessons added every month. Whatever your skill level, Brilliant customizes content to fit your needs and lets you solve at your own pace. So I've been having a lot of fun with the Logic course that I've been taking. I've also been having fun with the course How LLMs Work. That's how large language models work. Think ChatGPT, GPT-4, as well as Thinking in Code. Thinking in Code is actually the most fun so far. I love that course. So you can actually use Brilliant to generate your own ideas. Take a course, ruminate on the ideas that you learned in the course, and you'll notice ideas start popping up in your head. You'll have your own thoughts about the concepts that you've been learning. And right now, ParkNotes viewers can get started for free for 30 days, and the first 200 to sign up get 20% off an annual plan by visiting my link, brilliant.org/parknotes. That's brilliant.org/parknotes. You can find that link in the description or in the pinned comment. Okay, so those are 2 ways that you can start generating your own ideas and finding new ideas from other thinkers to collect and put them into your Pocket Notebook catch-all. So what do we do with our thoughts once our Pocket Notebook catch-alls are all filled up? Well, you guessed it, we use another notebook. This is my Good Idea Compendium. I like this thick, medium moleskin expanded notebook because I don't want a bunch of Good Idea Compendiums. I want a one-stop shop for all my best ideas. I have this in a saddleback leather medium moleskin cover. This is the old school version. I'm not sure if you can find these anymore, maybe on eBay, but you can use one of these Murdy Creative leather covers for the moleskin expanded version. These are super beautiful. I love me some Murdy Creative. So again, it's super simple. I take all my best ideas from my Pocket Notebook catch-alls, I abstract those out, I record and store them in this thick, expanded moleskin notebook. Not all of the ideas that I capture in my Pocket Notebooks are worth saving, but a lot of them are. And so once I collect and generate a good idea in my Pocket catch-all notebook, I will then record and store them in my Good Idea Compendium. From there, I can process them. I can move them into my Deep Thinking Philosophy journal to work on while I'm at the coffee shop, to add more ideas to analyze, to debate myself, and to just work through. Or I can put them in a commonplace book or any of my other notebook systems. I'll show that I've consumed this information by just throwing in a check mark. Here's How Philosophy Can Ruin Your Sex Life. It's one of my earliest ParkNote videos, and no one seems to like it, but you can find that linked up here somewhere if you're into that kind of thing. Other ideas I just sit on, and I'll come back to them later to work through, but who knows when. I just want to save them because my former self thought that they were good ideas. Maybe I haven't learned enough yet to act on these ideas, but I want to hold on to them for my future self to work through. So then when are you supposed to do this? When are you supposed to move ideas from your Pocket catch-all into your Good Idea Compendium? Well, I believe Cal Newport does this like once a month. I think he goes to a coffee shop and he'll go through his notes. He used to keep Pocket moleskin notebooks like I did, and he'd walk through them and ruminate on them and distribute them to various other systems. So you can choose to do that once a month, set that up on your schedule. But the way I like to do it is I will move ideas over once the notebook is filled. Now, I just started doing this, so this thing isn't super full, and I have a bunch of old notebooks to go through, but maybe I didn't have a bunch of good ideas back then anyways, so it might be light work after all. But I think that's probably the best way to do it. Once your notebook is full, then it's time to start abstracting ideas out and storing them in your Good Idea Compendium. You might consider using some of these little tabs to mark your place in your completed notebooks so you know just how far you got, or you can use the little ribbons as another placeholder. I've also been trying a similar method with my jiu-jitsu notes. I bring one of these waterproof expedition field notes memo books with me to class. I take notes after we've gone over the moves of the day, before live sparring, and then again after live sparring to see what worked. And then I'll go home and expand on these notes in my bigger notebook for jiu-jitsu notes. I don't want to show you those yet. They're really sloppy, really crazy. I'm still working through it, but just to let you know, that's another way you might go about doing this. All right, so that's it. The ideas are really simple, like I told you. Sometimes we just need someone to show us the way. This is the best system I've found for managing the life cycle of information. If you guys made it this far, then you're awesome. Leave me a notebook emoji to let me know who you are. I always love seeing the real ones. And leave me a comment. How do you capture your best ideas? Do you think you'll use this one? If you haven't already, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future tips and tricks and crazy philosophical words. All right, that's going to have to do it for now. I'll catch you guys next time.